Hello students, you've made it to exercise 07. This part is a really interesting part. We have a lot of curves in it, and we also have a section view here. We haven't learned how to create section views yet, so that's probably going to be the main thing for this video. We do see a section view here in exercise 01, but we did not cover that at all. So at this point in time, you should have all of these exercises complete up until exercise 07. What I need you to do is to find Autodesk Inventor on your desktop. It's going to look like this eye with the icon. Double click that to open up Autodesk Inventor. Give it a moment to fire up. Okay, here we go. Just move this into a nicer spot for you guys to see. Okay, so hopefully you can see everything happening there. So let's go ahead and start a new part. Let that load. And all of these exercises have been in millimeters. So what we need to do is go into the Tools menu on Autodesk Inventor, go to Document Settings, change the units to millimeters, and click Apply. And close. Click on 3D Model, click on Start a 2D Sketch, and before you actually start a 2D sketch, we're going to be drawing on a different plane for this one as well, because the top view is this plane right here, the XZ plane. So click on the XZ plane, and your view cube is going to look like this. It's going to say top, and it might be tilted. So you need to click on this arrow here to spin that around so that we get the correct view. This drawing is actually missing some important information, so make sure you watch this video fully before you get started on the part, or while you're making the part, make sure you're paying very close attention and listening to everything I say. This part looks very complicated, and it can be if you are not listening or you don't follow the steps the way I'm showing you. So let's start by creating 3 circles, and I want to notice that this main large circle right here has a radius of 75. So click on Circle tool. You want to click on the origin point right here, that's the center point, and your circle may be already set to diameter. If it is, you need to right click, make sure you're also using a computer mouse, or make sure you click the right click button on your touchpad. While your circle is movable like this, or expandable, you want to right click and click on radius, and then that should be 75, just like that. If you do it another way, there's a bunch of ways to do this. You can just draw oops, I messed up. I want to make sure I'm on the origin. You just draw a circle and then click on dimension and then click the circle, and right here now it's on diameter. You have to right click, dimension type, radius, and make it say 75. So those are 2 ways. So that is that large outside diameter or outside radius for that large circle. Now this one says R40. We're going to assume that this one is also R40. It should say it. It should say 2x40. So here we want to line these things up. So along this origin line, click and type 40 and enter. And then over here, click and make a circle that's 40. We're going to dimension these on a line now. So click on the line tool. Click on the center of this one, click on the center of this one, right click OK or press enter. We see that from the center point here to the center point here is spaced out by 150 on both sides. So click on the dimension tool. You want to make sure you click right on the center of this circle and right on the center of this circle, and then click over here and type 150. And repeat the steps for that. and that should say 150. Okay, good. Now, here's where there's a missing dimension. These curves are missing a dimension. Okay, so I'm going to assume that it's the same radius as 75. So what we need to do is draw a circle with a radius of 75 in this space right here. And then we're going to use these constraint commands. We're going to use the tangent constraint. So click on tangent, click on this circle, and then click on that circle right here. And click on the circle and click on that circle right there. Then click trim and trim that outside so that we get that curve. And don't worry about the dimensions that are showing up here. So let's repeat that 1, 2, 3 more times. So draw a circle, needs to be 75 millimeter radius. Click tangent, click both circles, and trim. Okay, let's do that 2 more times. So over here, draw a circle, make it 75, click tangent, click your circles so that they touch, click trim, trim that outside part, and repeat the process for over here. 75, tangent, click, 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 and click. And then click trim and trim. Then we can trim this line, 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 and these middle lines here. Oh, this one says I can't trim it. Okay. I'm going to tap escape a couple times. Let's see if I can highlight it and press delete. Okay, so I can highlight that line and press delete on the keyboard to delete it. There we go. I'll click dimension. I'm going to dimension these just to constrain it and make sure that they are exactly 75. So I know that that's 75, that's 75, and this is good. So now we click on Finish Sketch, click on the home. Let's look at our technical drawing here. The section view, which is the front view technically here, shows us a 20 right here for the depth. So we're going to extrude that by 20. So click extrude, make this as a 20, and click OK. We have 2 cutout holes here. So let's make those first. So on this surface, right click, new sketch, click project geometry, click on the circle parts so that you get the centers to pop up. And the holes here have a diameter of 50. So I think we're going to have to change our circle dimension type. So click circle, find the center there, click, and yep, we're stuck on radius. So right click, click on diameter, and then make that say 50. Repeat the process over here, that should say 50. There's also the little cutout here that has a distance of 20. So let's show you, oops, pressing escape. What I like to do is I'll use the rectangle tool and I'll just draw a rectangle right there. And what I'll do is I'll use my constraint commands to get it to be perfectly centered on it, and then I'll trim. So watch before you do anything. So I drew the rectangle, it's intersecting with this edge and the edge here. Click dimension, this needs to be 20 on this side. And now I'm going to use it's the horizontal constraint button. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to click on the center of the circle, and then I'm going to move my mouse until it finds the midpoint of the line here. So when it finds the midpoint, you'll see a little dot pop up, and then you click, and it'll move it up. That's all you need to do. And you want it off of the part because it's going to cut through it. I'm going to click trim, trimming this line, and this line to make it look like a little keyhole. And I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So draw a rectangle, dimension the side to 20, clicking horizontal constraint, clicking the center of the circle, finding the midpoint of that rectangle, and clicking trim, trimming these lines that I do not need, clicking finish sketch, and now I see those little keyholes. I can click extrude, I can click cut through all, and then select those surfaces, just like that, and click OK. Wonderful. Now all we have left to do is create these holes here. There's several ways you can do that. You could draw these circles with their diameters or their radiuses and just extrude down the length that you see in the section view here. So this says 10 and 10. The diameter is 135.6 and then this diameter is 100. So you could do that. You can just draw two separate sketches with two separate holes and that would be fine. I'm going to show you a different way called a spot face, where you just put a point on the center here, and then using the hole command, you can actually create a spot face which will go down a step and then another step. So let's do that. So here on the surface, right click, new sketch, find point, click on that center right there, and then click finish sketch. So that point is going to be where we create our spot face. Click on hole, and then you have a seat here. So we want to leave it on simple hole, and then find spot face and click on spot face. And so the diameter here is going to be let's see, let me go back to the drawing. It is 135.6. So that should say 135.6. The depth is going to be 10. And then that is also going to be 10 here. Well, the depth is going to be the rest of the way is 10 because we have a part that is 20. So that's a very convenient thing that we can do, that we have here. So then this is 100. So go back here, and that should be 100. So our outside hole is 135.6. It's going down into the part by 10, and then the other diameter is 100, and that's just going to cut the whole way through. Click OK, and there's our part, just like the technical drawing shows us. Let's save it. So save it as exercise 07. So I'm going to click the save button. Exercise 07. You might have noticed in all my video lessons, I just click on the last part that is saved and then go to the number and change it. So maybe you can get in the habit of doing that as well. Clicking on save. Now let's make the technical drawing for this part. So click on File, Drawing. Right click Sheet 1, click on Edit Sheet, change the size to A, right click on ANSI Large and delete. Click the plus on Drawing Resources, click the plus on Title Blocks, right click on ANSI A and click on Insert. Click on Base, and this should work out perfectly, just like that. Okay, so we only need these two views. We don't need a side view. And it's in quarter scale. I wonder what it'll look like in half scale. It's too big. Yeah, that's too big. So, I don't need that many. I actually don't need this view yet. So I'm going to let's go back to quarter scale. Actually, I like the half scale. The half scale is going to work out. I'm going to click OK. And what I want is I'm going to delete this view right here. So I'm going to right click and click delete. Click OK. Oops. That didn't work out. Let me delete this view too. Yep. Alright, so base. I just want the top view. I'm going to click the view cube. I want that to be half scale. And so I want that right there. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to click base again. I'm going to change it to the isometric views by clicking on that little home button. This one, leave it on quarter scale so that it can live up here. And as a small tiny image, click OK. Now here's the challenging part, the section view, which is what we see here, showing us the green cutaway. So if you look closely, you see there's A with two arrows pointing in that direction. That means that this section view is looking in that direction. So that's what we need to try and make. So before we do that, let's go to annotate. And let's add some center marks on our drawing. There we go. Okay, now go to place views, click section. And then what we have to do is we have to click on the view. There's going to be the little red dots that go around it. So click on that view. And then we're going to line up our mouse to a center mark and go past it like right here and click, and then move your mouse to the right, go past the part and click, and then right click, continue. Now you see what it's doing? It's doing like the technical drawing is showed you in the example. You're going to pull down, you're going to go down and click one time, and there is your section view. I think that is so cool. So what you see here is you have your section lines. That's the solid part of the part, where if you were to cut through this part with a knife, this is what you would see. You would see the inside. That, you can think of that as like knife marks. Wonderful. So that is that's all I want you to do for this video lesson. It's just that particular for the technical drawing. I just wanted you to learn how to do section views. So if that didn't make any sense or you missed something, rewatch what I did so that it can be ingrained in your brain. I want you to understand how a section view works and how it looks. If you want to go beyond my expectations, if you want to go the extra mile, what you'll do is you'll pause the video on this image right here and add all of these dimensions that you see. If you do that, you're going to earn bonus points. Right now, this image, this part is worth 20 out of 20. There's 10 bonus points up for grabs if you add all of the extra dimensions and all of the marks and lines that you see. So as of right now, the part is done for the regular credit. What you need to do is update the eye properties. So file, eye properties, summary. So the title is EX07, subject engineering. You're the author, so that's your name. Manager's me. Kenzilla is a company, and click apply and close. So that is updated. And then save it. Make sure it is exported as a PDF, and that's the file you will send me for credit. And of course, if you have any questions or need help, ask for my help. But you can always go back through the video lesson to make sure you understood and can do this kind of assignment and this kind of work.